Hello, how's it going? Today I am going to be building the rear part of my car, so the MUX. I'm going to put a 12 volt system in there as I've discussed in earlier videos, but first I've got to make a platform base to pretty much attach my framework to put my 12 volt system in. So the back of the MUX is really lumpy and odd shaped, and it's also got a bit of a drop off at the back end, so I have to make something up which I can bolt down that will support a battery and DC charger, etc, 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 plus all the other gear that I'm putting in there. So pretty much that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to make a bit of a template, which if you've got an MUX and you want a template, reach out, because I'm going to save it this time. I actually made one a few years ago and I gave it away, which was a dumb idea, but end result, now I need to make a new one. So I'm going to go through and put this in. I'm going to measure up. Got a bit of piece of cardboard here so I can make my template out, have my measurements on it. Yeah, and we'll see how we go with it. So first off, I'm going to climb in the back there and just do straight measurements and side measurements, and then it's got sort of a scalloped outside, which I'm then going to shape up and pretty much go through the process and build it out of ply. So hope you enjoy the journey. Alright, so now we're in the car. As you can see, we've got a rather deep, ignore the mess please, I haven't vacuumed it properly, but a rather deep piece here, which is good if I had a skinny long battery, but I don't have a skinny long battery. So I'm going to make a base to sit right on here. I'm going to bolt it down to where these existing bolt points are and pretty much make it secure. Yeah, so let's kick off with just having a bit of a look here on the measurement. So pretty much I'm going to start at the back here, and ultimately I want to know the width. So that's 1100 wide. I'll write that down, a little bit of chicken scratch here. Then I'm going to go, if you can see this, around this way. So I'm going to go depth to the point where it all comes in to where I want it to be. So we're going to go 75, and that gives me a little bit of stuff at the back to put in some wiring. So 75 centimeters, 1100 by 75. And then we've got these awkward little curves that we have to try and manufacture, which is not so bad out of paper, so it shouldn't be too hard to do. So we'll go on our journey and give it a whirl. Hello, wife.
Hello, I'm off.
All right. Have a good lunch.
Have fun.
She's off for lunch while I do the hard work. It's not unusual. So, as husband should, I've been informed. So yeah, we'll just give it a nudge. So as I said, I'm going to go 1100 across the back. I'm going to go 75 centimeters down to here. Then I'm going to create these in curves, and then this curvature, which I'll jump out of the car, make it easy for you. This curvature here, I want it to fit nicely in there, and then I'm going to have it raised slightly with a block so everything sits level with this point, and as long as it's level with that point, our slide fridge and things like that will function. So best laid plans, so we'll see how we go on the journey. So now we're going to mark it up and get it sorted out. So I'll stand you up on the table here, should be able to see what I'm doing, hopefully. There we go. So get our measurements sorted out, So pretty much I'm just going to start at the top up here, and I'm going to go 1100 across in the centre of this board. So basically bang, bang. That'll give us our baseline end mark on how we're going to have it going, which is going to be good. So that'll give us our 1100. Then we're going to basically square that off with a square. I like to use a square to give me the first start of the line for the 75, otherwise it might go on an angle, and that could be a bit annoying. So here's my square, and then I'll finish off my 75, following that line, and this should give me a rough sort of mark on where I need it to be. So 1100 down to 75, bang, just like that. And that's when we start getting our in curve, and hopefully we've got enough material on either side here to do that. I probably didn't centre it very well, but we should have enough, so that shouldn't be a problem. Again, I'll come over this side and do my square. And I'll do my 75 off of that. Stand it up. Now, because it's cardboard, it doesn't have to be an exact science, because we can modify it as we go, but I want to get it as close as I can, pretty much. 75, boom. So that's there. So that'll give us our marks. From there, because we've got a square line, I'll drop down my level and just run it along that straight line. It should give me a pretty accurate sort of marker, like so, where I can cut it off. And that'll give us our drop-in piece to verify against the back of the car. Boom, like that, like a boss. Not sure how square that one is though, that didn't turn out very well, did it? Table's moving, that's better, try that. There we go, that's better. And I'm going to cut that off, and that's going to give me my starter. I'm going to cut these off now to that point, just hack it off, and that'll be able to drop in, and then I'll be able to formulate the outside edges to create the round look. So that's the plan. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Bit of a razor blade. I suggest you use something better than a razor blade, but that's all I've got. So let's just deal with it for the moment. Coolio. Boom, like a boss. Like a boss. There we go. Do the same to the other side. I'll spin it around and do that to make it easier for us, because otherwise it'll be a bit painful. And I've got a bung. Throw that over there. I've got a bung tape. It doesn't want to retract, so that's going to make it a whole lot more fun. Alright, let's spin this around, eh? Spin this around. So I've got an overhang on the edge of the table. I'll be able to cut that off now without too much stress, hopefully. It's all marked. Hopefully you can see that okay. It's easy till it's not. Alright, so that'll give us our baseline for starting the back of the, hopefully there's noise not too great for you, for the back of the car. So in essence, this now should be our beginning of putting it in. Boom. Alright, that's going to work well. Okay. That worked a treat. So we're pretty happy with that. That's actually turned out really well. So now I'm going to do some measurements and work out the baseline here. So we've got the back, we've got the length, we've got the width. That's all nice and tight. I'll probably end up trimming that a fraction because it's a bit too tight for timber. Now I'm going to get a small piece of cardboard and try and shape out the inside just using a pencil. Then I'm going to cut that out. So we'll see how we go with that one. If you can see there. Take one of my offcuts. Paper would probably be easier in this instance, but that's another problem for another day. I'll bring you over and show you what I'm doing, make it easy for all of us. Ignore the state of my garage, please. It's not very tidy. There we go. So, as you can see, we've got this weird angled shape here. So I'm just going to take a corner off of this. Until I get it in there. Take a corner off of there. I can round this out properly afterwards and slowly work my way in, trying to get a bit of a guideline shape on it, which then I'll lie on the board and that'll give me what I need. We're starting to get in there. So it's going to go in there, a bit more off of there. Now don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's easier ways to do this, but this is how I've done it in the past and it worked really well for me. It gave me a very accurate sort of feed in without too much stress. As you can see, we're working our way in there, which is pretty good. So that there's not too bad. I'll make this one here a little bit more length. Again, be careful with the Stanley knives and blades and razors and things. It can really bite you. Now this one's got a bit of a blunt back, so I'm pretty happy with that. It doesn't necessarily attack you so savagely. Okay, so we're now getting into the zone here. This one here a bit deeper. Boom. Like a boss. So that there will be pretty close to how I want it. I don't want it to go right into the corner because it's just awkward to actually get into the car. It becomes a bit of a problem for you. When you're trying to get into the car afterwards, it can be a bit of an issue because you have to come in on an angle and then drop down into place. So that there will give me pretty much where I'm at. So if I mark there and mark there, that would almost give me where I need it to be on that other board at the 75 mark. So let's go and have a go at it. Now if this works out as good as it's looking, I'll be stoked. Generally it doesn't, so we'll just have a go at it from here now. Alright, so we have this piece. Now there's my knife marker, and there's my knife marker there. So in essence, I should be able to draw this out, and it will give me a pretty accurate point of what I need to cut out. Pretty accurate. Now, I'm not saying it's ideal, or actually I might leave that a little bit longer there because there was a bit of a length there, and I can manipulate that one actually as we go. That'll go like that. Boom. So that'll give us our rough guideline for the external edge. Hang it up. Remember, when I'm doing this in timber, it'll be nice and square and nice and beautiful. Not so much on a bit of cardboard, but it does a good job for actually making the system for us. Boom. Go this way now. Okay, so that's like that. Now because we've got the longer piece and it's pretty much the end of it, I'm going to cut it off there following the same line as the square. I'll cut it off. Now this is where it could go horribly wrong, so let's just bear with me please, people. Okay, so we have the little outcrop sticking out now. Now again, we're going to put it back in the car and test this again. So let's just move around this way, go up like that. You can see there, hopefully. As you can see, that'll go up on an angle like that when it drops in. And I have to trim this side to make it work. So this one here, I can almost go straight along. So this other side, we're going to follow with a slight outcrop, the same line as the level line we've done before. So I'm going to go straight down the line just with an extra couple of centimetres. And then we can modify that to suit the side of the wagon. Now we've got to be careful there too, because on the MUXs, the side of that wagon is where the jack and stuff is. So you need to be able to get that open. So you can't have a bit of timber tight against it. It just can't happen. So you need to be a bit careful with that. Oh, paper cut. Forget the blade. Oh, that hurt. Oh, paper cuts suck. Oh. Alright, safety first, people. Oh, 2 paper cuts. Oh, that sucked. Anyway. Oh, that mings. Alright, remember, not only do you have your tools, have band-aids on hand, which I don't have, so more fool me. Alright, let's do this. Let's do this. I'm just doing 2 things at once here. What am I trying to achieve? I'm trying to put this in the car with you in my hand. Hold on a minute. Drop you down there and tilt you up there so you can see what's going on. There you go, let's try that. It'll come to here. Okay. So there you go. In one shot, we've got pretty close to where we need to be. Now, got to cut the back off it here, just down here. I've got to cut the back off and curve it in here. So you can see that it's going to sit into that space. I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to do that live as we go, and then I'm going to shape this over here. You can see the seatbelt part is actually getting caught up, so we don't want that. Other than that, it's actually going to be a pretty good fit. I am going to trim this whole side down a fraction because I need to carpet this, and to carpet it, it's going to take a bit more room, so I need about a 5mm tolerance. Hence why over here I'm not too stressed, because there's going to be some bunched up carpet fitting into these gaps as well, and that will work pretty good. So let's shape out the rear and see if we can get it to work, eh? I reckon that'll be magic. Let's just put you over here. Bear with me. Alright, wait there. Let's change blades to a bigger blade and just have a look down the line and see if we can... Alright, I'm going to change this up again. Alright, so I'm just going to cut this piece off the back here, straight off where I know it's going to go, and then we're going to shape it up. Better be a bit careful with this paper cutter. This cardboard actually really cuts. I was worried about the blade, but I probably shouldn't have been. Oh, dick move. All that work and I made a mistake. It had to happen really, didn't it? It had to happen. I cut it a bit short there, but that again doesn't matter because I can drop a piece in and tape it. Because all these little areas where there's little corners and things, like in here, I'm going to put some stuff in there and tape it on. So it gives me a really accurate sort of level. Oh man, I'm bleeding out. Okay. Uh-oh. Sorry team, dropped you over. Alright, so that can now push down in there. That's going to be cut out there, so that's good. We know that that has to go to fit around the original seat belt mount. And that's not going to cause me too much pain either. Rip that out, so that's going to be fine. Other than that, that's actually a pretty good fit. I'm pretty happy with that. That's going to sit in there nice and tight. That's pretty good because you have to have access to this when that's lifted up a fraction. When that's lifted up, the last one I had was about 18mm, and being 18mm, it was just too thick. So this one here is going to be probably 10mm ply, some sort of structural ply. It's not going to be too bad, plus the carpet, it's not going to go anywhere near that. Last time I had it really tight, and it was a struggle to get my jack out, which I don't want. We definitely don't need that. So a couple of tidy ups in here, which we need to do. A couple of little spots, just to make it a bit more. Remembering it is only a template, okay, so it's only going to be for laying on the timber, and when I do the timber cuts, it'll be a whole lot more, let's call it professional, rather than being so rough, because this is all very, I wouldn't say rushed, it's just the way it is, like it's the process, and it works, and regardless of whether you know, have another idea, you can use paper, you can use whatever you like, but for me, I find cardboard good, because it's solid, it's structural. When I say structural, it's easy to move around and it's not going to fold and do weird things. When you mark it out, it's actually pretty well set up. So I'm now going to grab myself a coffee and I'm going to put some stuff into here and I'll tape it down. I'm not going to record that part because that's just boring, but I'll bring you back and show you that as soon as I've got it done. Thanks for watching. Hold on a minute. Alright, so I made it back from Bunnings, which is good. Used my roof rack for the first time, which is pretty handy. I put up the Rhino flat bar on the top. There's a video of that somewhere else if you have a look on YouTube on how to do it. But that worked really well. Normally I have to ask a mate with a ute, but this time, happy days. Okay, so I ended up not buying 10mm. The ply on 10mm is way too wavy and it's flexy. I don't think it'll have any strength to it. So I went for I think it was a 15mm sheet of ply here. 15mm is much more rigid. That'll hold on pretty good, I think. And that'll work pretty well for the back of the car. So my next phase is to tidy this up a bit, make sure the edges are perfect and everything's sort of right. That sort of moved around, make sure everything's right. and then pretty much I'm going to cut out my template and work it out. So I'm going to lie it down with a bit of ply, get that sorted out. I might have another coffee, and I'll come right back to you.